What's up, guys, and welcome back to the GameShow Invitational. We have a best of three in the middle of it. BU going up against Moscow 5 M5 with a one-game lead. We'll see if BU can bring it back to a 1-1 score. If they're going to get shut out 2-0, I'm Mikelorus, going to be one of your casters for today. Danelie is also here as well, and already we're going to see a much different type of strategy. Beastmaster, Gyrocopter, I believe were previously banned out, but are now going to be first picked.
Beastmaster, I'm not too sure if he was banned out first, but Gyrocopter definitely a top priority ban during the meta. He's very strong, so Burden United, they managed to secure him as a first pick. You can do a lot with the Gyrocopter. You can throw him in the mid lane, you can put him in the safe lane as a safe lane farmer. I would not suggest him as a support. He can do it. He has a couple of spells that would complement him as a support, but typically you'd want him to transition into a carry role just because flat cannon so good during the late game, especially when you're starting to hit hard. It's like a free battle for you for six attacks, and especially if targets, even though they might be far away, there's still a chance for them to be hit. So Gyrocopter, very strong hero. I'd be surprised if Burden United takes this series in a 2-0 sweep, because you even spoke about this towards the end of last game. What's the odds for Burden United? Wasn't it 15%?
For Moscow 5, it's like something like that.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
Moscow, people don't really like them, do they? But we'll have to see, won't we?
I mean, I think just people underestimate them because when you do run these like very aggressive strategies that we just saw in the last game, it's expected at a certain point, and teams will be like, oh, well, we're up against Moscow 5. We should probably pick up some sort of hero to counter that early aggression, and then you kind of fall short a lot of the time. So outside of that, Moscow 5, they are pretty inconsistent as far as their other game plans are concerned. So I think the odds may be a little bit disrespecting Moscow 5, but still, like, it is still BU's with an advantageous position right now, especially with a Chen pick after the Gyrocopter. It's going to be a much different game for them. And Moscow 5 both, like Witch Doctor, Beastmaster, these are not really super aggressive heroes. Even though Moscow 5 still can go for more pushing, it doesn't really seem like they're as well positioned for it this game than the last.
They still have a lot of team fight. Take into consideration they have the Roar as the initiation. They're going to have vision all the time with the Hawk. And then they're also going to have the Death Ward from the Witch Doctor. So I wouldn't be surprised if Moscow 5 decides to go for, again, another aggressive draft. Although, with these two heroes, there doesn't seem to be that much push potential. We'll have to see with their last three. Whereas Burden United, they're going to go on the aggressive as well. They've drafted a Gyrocopter, not an AFK farming hero. He has spells to fight early. And they also have a Chen. And this Chen, he's going to have creeps, he's going to give his team sustain. So I'm expecting an aggressive game from both teams. Maybe just some passive farming for the first 5 minutes, but then after that we should see a lot of action on the map by both sides.
Maybe Moscow 5 going to grab a Night Stalker or something like that. That is a hero that they tend to roll with quite a bit. But for BU, like, this is more similar to the Moscow 5 opening of last game. They're already well positioned to go for some pushing. Like with Chen and a Gyrocopter, you have creep clearing galore. You don't have, the most damage onto the towers, but you have the Chen creeps that really provides the bodies. So if BU want to go for that, they can very easily do so. And Moscow 5, they don't really have any great answers to it right now. Like Cask is very good versus Chen because it pretty much permastuns the creeps. Wild Axes, does some AoE damage, but if BU are taking a very direct, we're just going to push your base type of strategy, then the extra vision given by the Beastmaster may or may not be relevant. Like, and that's pretty large reason why teams pick up Beastmasters, because you get that Hawk vision.
Yeah, but we have to see also how the team fights are going to happen, because taking into consideration Moscow 5, it looks to me that they're going for team fights. So if their team fight is superior, I would expect them to run head on into Burden United's draft. Yes, there's defensive spells from them already with the Chen and the Gyro, but they can do it. They just need those heroes to jump right into the middle of the fray. So Blinkers, Axe still in the pool if they want to go in that direction, just to have a very tanky front end hero that can also grab a really quick Blink Dagger. They could even secure a Sand King that we saw last game, which was played by Burden United, mind you. So we'll have to see. Lots of time actually being used up by Moscow 5. This is their third pick as well, so they're really taking into consideration what they want. 3 seconds left. They're going to go for Sand King. So this time Moscow 5 going to secure themselves a Sand King. Lots of initiation now. You have a Sand King that's going to eventually pick up a Blink.
Lots of stuns also. If he does get a fast blink, then the pushing from BU is going to be so much more difficult. So far, they don't have any great answers to the Sand King. No great way of interrupting his blink dagger or anything like that. Though, with the Sand King already on the field right now, BU may go for something like a Zeus. No, it's going to be a Dazzle instead for them. So they have healing and then some. Having banned out the Ancient Apparition to protect their Chen, can now do double duty up against this, or with the Dazzle pickup, but who are they actually protecting right now? Just the Gyrocopter? I mean, Dazzle, Chen, Gyro, not exactly super dangerous. If you're going to be playing this, or if you're going to be playing a Gyrocopter as a kill lane, you really need some sort of stun, or at least a substantial slow, and Dazzle, Chen don't really have that.
10 seconds remaining.
Burden, it feels like they're drafting defensive. So they're going to go for a kind of push draft, but also a lot of defensive mechanisms. They're going to go for an Earthshaker. Is this going to be a core Dazzle now?
I think it's probably going to be an offlane Earthshaker. Give that one to Paris, and then just have Dazzle, Chen, Gyrocopter in the top lane, or the bottom lane rather. They are looking for a mid lane for Necroman, and Storm Spirit or something like that should be the ban out for Moscow 5, who actually grabbed the Lestrak. I mean, this Earthshaker is fine, like as a counter to what Moscow 5 have. They needed stuns, so it's a good hero in that regard, but outside of that, I'm always on the fence with core Earthshakers. We did see a pretty good one in the previous set of Fort Clovers versus Power Rangers, but that's, I would say, the exception more so than the rule.
I keep forgetting that offlane Earthshaker is a thing now. I'm just so used to him as being a position 4 and 5 hero that just to not get much farm. So offlane Earthshaker, though, I would not expect him to get too much in the offlane if the supports on the side of Moscow 5 are going to be aggressive. And also it depends on who's going to be in that safe lane. If Moscow 5 do the exact same thing as last game, they're going to draft someone that's going to come online early and can be aggressive. So it's not going to be anything like a carry or hard carry really, but something that comes online during the mid game. So what do they have? They've got their 2 supports, they've got what could be their offlaner in the Beastmaster, a Leshrac who can go mid or safe lane. So Moscow 5, they're pretty versatile with this last pick. Any suggestions that you might think that they would pick up?
Well, I'm inclined to think they're going to pick someone with the Sand King and the Witch Doctor. Like, even the Phantom Lancer doesn't really seem so terrible right now, BU. And they may have the Gyrocopter Earthshaker, so maybe not exactly that hero. But if they want to go aggressive, someone like a Luna even would be decent. Or they could run out of time. It's a Darkseer. That is not what I expected.
Did they pick that, or was that actually...
I'm pretty sure they picked that.
They had to have picked that.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
The reserve time was at 0. It was at 0 for what seems like more than 1 second, but I'm pretty sure it's a Darkseer pick for Moscow 5. I honestly don't really see where it fits in. Like, Darkseer together with the Wombo combo that Moscow 5 have, yeah, the dream is certainly real, and Darkseer as a hero is pretty good, but they really don't need a Darkseer in this draft right now.
5 seconds.
Well, if you think about it, what on the side of Burden United is going to be threatened by a Darkseer? The Gyrocopter's not going to come online till about the 30-minute mark when he actually has items to do right clicks, because he relies on magical damage up until that point. So a Darkseer, the only sort of synergy I see is that him just throwing the Ion Shell onto the Sand King when he goes for the initiation, just to go for the Borrow Strike initiation into Epicenter combo. That's the only thing I see that they can do with the Darkseer, unless they're anticipating something for this last pick to be a right clicker to work with the Gyrocopter.
Like Darkseer versus Anti-Mage is pretty good. You can make some illusions of that, or Luna also. So like, yeah, I mean, Wall is pretty good, and Darkseer does have some cute combos, especially with that Sand King that you mentioned. Not only the Ion Shell on the Sand King, but also being able to surge the Sand King in early on when he has level 1, level 2 in the Burrow Strike. Not really a good skill because you can rarely land it, but if you can land it off of a surge, suddenly it gets to be really good. For BU, it's going to be an Invoker for the mid lane. That is also not really what I expected, although a little bit less surprising than I would say than the Darkseer pickup for Moscow 5. I think this is going to be a Wex Invoker. I don't know if they have enough stuns to really capitalize on Sunstrike.
I would say Quaswex as well. EMP, if Necroman can get some decent EMPs off in the fight, that's going to be a ton of mana taken away from these heroes. And look at Moscow's 5's draft. Like last game, they're going to be relying on their spells. So if you can take a chunk of their mana away, that's going to be great for Burden United. So Invoker is a last pick. I have no issues with it. Maybe if they feel that they need the extra damage, they can try and go for an Exalt Invoker. But we have to see how comfortable they are going up against Moscow's
10
draft.
seconds
We'll see
remaining.
afterwards what he goes for anyway, because Necroman, he has a plan.
5 seconds remaining.
Yeah.
He
If
has
you-
a plan.
If they do go for an exhort build, what they do get is those Forge Spirits together with the Chen can add a lot of pressure to the Moscow 5 side of the base. So it really depends on what do you actually feel like going for. Do they want to make full use of this Chen and his early game pushing power, in which case go exhort, get those Forge Spirits up, and then hold down the fort and then push with that? Or are they okay with letting Minuts farm slower, or farm in the jungle, maybe stack up the camps and then Wild Wing Tornado them down, in which case Necroman can go for a Wex build? It really is up to BU, and I think maybe going for the defensive play is probably better here, since Moscow 5's late game really not comparable to that of BU. Sing Sing's Gyrocopter is going to trump every single one on Moscow 5, unless, maybe he's going to get stun locked down. He has to be careful about the CC from Moscow 5.
I think Moscow, they have a little bit of late game with the Darkseer. They could just turn Sing Sing against himself if they can get a very nice wall of replica. But that's a big if. It's always going to be based on how M5 go in for those initiations when the team fights happen. So I guess we'll introduce the teams really quickly, or should we actually wait until this roam actually happens? Because we may catch somebody out.
I don't know if it will. They are on a roaming mission. When you pick up a Chen, you can assume that the enemies are going to be making some sort of play like this just to make Chen's life difficult. We already see a Sentry Ward being dropped, and it is in range of an Observer Ward, so that was unintentional for Moscow 5, but hey, they're going to be happy that that happened regardless. Let's see how deep they actually go to shut down this Chen. Yeah, it looks like they're going to push this Chen all the way out of jungle. Bignum has range for Burrow Strike. He's going to land it. ZXC has a Split Earth as well. Minot's going to get double stun, triple stun incoming with Slander getting his off. Minot's going to be first blood for sure. It'll be Slander to draw it. A great start for Moscow 5. They cripple the Chen's jungling, and they cripple the Chen himself.
That is the power of a try-stun lineup. If you can't get away from your enemies, you're not getting away, and you are probably just going to give away first blood. So unfortunate for Burden United. They're already one game down, and giving away first blood, it's really going to hit their morale at this point. They're just probably thinking, oh crap, we lost the first game, we gave away first blood as well. Are we going to have the same thing happen this game like it did last game? But I think they can recover, but it's going to be determined by how they do in this laning phase. They have a decent draft, and it's also going to be based on whether they can shut down M5 while it's still early. Yes, it's an early game draft, but if Burden United can get ahead and they can actually contest M5 while they're still weak, then they're in an okay position. The only question is, are they going to be able to do it? Bignum just going to be annoying to Minuts, though, saying, you can't go in the jungle. This is my jungle.
Well, at least Chen has a camp to actually grab creeps from. Unfortunately, it's a Satyr, but hey, it's better than nothing. Bignum's still going to make the Chen's life very difficult. ZXC up towards top lane, going to take a full-on Rocket Barrage. Poison Touch not quite going to be lethal. ZXC will be fine. Let's actually take this time to introduce the players, since we haven't done that yet. It's going to be Sing Sing on the Gyrocopter up towards top, along with Come With Me's Dazzle. Necroman's going to be holding down the fort in the mid lane as the Invoker with Minuts on the Chen. That leaves Paris on the solo safe lane Earthshaker. He's up against a Darkseer. Not good times.
Yeah, in the mid lane there, just a bit of a cold snap onto Axmo, just for a little bit of harassment. But on the side of Moscow 5, Axmo, like we said, playing on the Beastmaster up top in our defensive tri-lane. We have ZXC playing on the Leshrac. We have Slanders on the Witch Doctor that is trying to protect his buddy. Although in the mid lane, we may see another gate Necroman. He's being jumped on by two heroes. There's the Burrow Strike to keep him in place, and can they get him? The cold snap was thrown out onto Axmo, but unfortunately not able to throw any more procs. Bignum just going to be harassed by a Satyr, and he just pops a bit of a Sandstorm to hide under the cover of invisibility, but that Satyr almost got him with the Shockwave. He might be able to get him one more time. He's not quick enough though, should not be in range, although he might run into someone else. Axmo, this is a Beastmaster that's really tanky though, so he's probably going to get a free creep kill if the Satyr can't get out in time. I think he's just going to give it away. And I think I forgot to introduce somebody.
Limbo Darkseer?
Down bottom. Limbo Darkseer, oh yes.
Yeah, and as I said before, he's up against an Earthshaker. Darkseer versus melee. Any melee hero really, usually pretty darn good for the Darkseer. I think Axe really the only exception there. Maybe Tidehunter, but that's usually more even. But yeah, Darkseer should have a free roll down this bottom lane, just like last game from Limbo. Up towards top, they're going to go again. Slander is going to walk right into a Rock Barrage, but gets the stun off before he actually can channel it, Beaver Knight. Now Slander's on the run to the south. He's very quickly running low on mana. and he's just going to try to waste Beaver Knight's time, maybe buy a TP scroll or something. No, buys a stick instead. He gets something, and this is really not a great lane for Moscow 5, just because Gyrocopter is running around without answers against so many soft heroes. Poison Touch level 1 is a really bad skill, but hey, if you can catch up with the Gyrocopter without being punished, it doesn't really matter.
Oh god, Sing Sing was being so aggressive, just running past the enemy T1 tower 3 minutes into the game. That, you know the enemy's confident when they're doing that. Oh god, down bottom there, Earthshaker. Gonna go down to Limbo on the Darkseer, but is he gonna die to creeps? 31 HP. He's probably just gonna have to start chewing on some tangos after this. Does not want to leave the lane. He has a lot of gold though. 1.5k already, but, well, 21 CS. What do you expect?
Oh, and mid lane, Mynuts is going to get jumped by Bignum. This Sand King just won't leave this Chen alone. Chen just trying to get some peace and quiet in a jungle somewhere, but Bignum's right on his tail. Has a Burrow Strike, will use it. Axe Mode, throwing the axes, has a boar, 2 boars in fact. Mynuts tower neutral deny will happen. So, probably best case scenario there for the Chen, but still, like, he's not getting that much. He's still only level 1 right now. And if BU's plans were to go for a push, then that's just not going to happen. He's not going to get a lot of farm for a very long time. Fortunately for BU, the Invoker has gone for a Wex build, so they're not reliant on this push to succeed in this game.
I love the constant aggression from M5, just to never leave that Chen alone. So he's never going to come online unless he just decides to commit to the jungle, or if he's going to go into lane. He buys 2 sets of smokes though, probably anticipating he may die again, unfortunately. Oh, poor guy. Up top though, there was just a bit of poison touch onto Slander, but nothing really happening. Mynuts though, he is finally getting the jungle he wants.
For how long, however? Sooner or later, I'm pretty sure Bignum is going to rotate down there. That's just what the Sand King's job is in this game. His job is to make this Chen's life difficult, and well, Mynuts is soon going to have a couple more camps to work with, but he also has to worry about this Darkseer. Level 5 Darkseer with level 3 Ion Shell can just run and keep pace with Mynuts with that Ion Shell active, and Mynuts, unless he has a creep like the one that he has right now, Dark Troll Summoner, he will just die to an Ion Shell. Similarly, down towards bottom, Earthshaker, the exact same scenario. Limbo is going to be bullying pretty much whoever he wants right now, and he's so wealthy. He's going to grab a Hand of Midas 5 minutes in. You know, usually we don't really see Hands of Midas on the Darkseer just because Mech, Blink Dagger, Force Staff, these items are usually preferable, but it's 5 minutes. You might as well go for a Hand of Midas.
Well, he's getting free farm, so there's no problem in getting a Midas this quickly if he's having no one contest him in the lane aside from an Earthshaker. And an Earthshaker, being a melee hero, if you're going up against a Darkseer, not favorable for you in the least, so super annoying for the Earthshaker. He's going to have to deal with it at this point. The only question is, will Burden United punish Limbo, or are they going to just try and win the other lanes while they're kind of giving this Darkseer this free farm? Because Darkseer, he needs a lot of farm himself. He wants to get that level 9 so he can get those items, the mana regen, that mech, and also that first point into Wall of Replica. So, Burden United, what are your priorities? Looks like mid lane as well as top lane is their priorities for the moment.
And the Invoker is doing okay versus the Beastmaster, but they're pretty much both at perfect parity. Up towards top lane, we have a very similar situation. In Axmo, he's on the hunt with the Roar active, and, well, the Earthshaker not healthy to begin things off. Axe is going to chop down all the trees. He has an enchant totem, but he gets roared to the face. That's going to be the Earthshaker down. Axmo's target pretty much walking right into him, and that's first Roar usage, first kill as well. 5-1 lead now for Moscow 5, as Limbo's going to continuously have a great time. Maybe they get some blood into ZXC though. This is a very soft hero. They don't have much CC, but do they even need it? Rocket Barrage turned on. Troll, if he lands this net, that'll be a kill, and there it is. Net into ZXC, turning around for something, but he doesn't even get that off. Finally, it's a kill for BU, and it's a pretty big kill as well in the enemy Lestrak.
Well, they needed a kill for so long, so to get that, not just on the Gyrocopter, but also onto Mynuts on the Chen, it's going to boost his farm a little bit, because we've noticed how difficult it has been for Mynuts to get any sort of farm in the jungle because of the constant harassment. So he gets a little bit of something from the rotation. He's going to bring his creeps in a little bit. Don't know if he's going to be there to just contest this farm from Bignum. Although I'm hearing an EMP in the mid lane though. We're going to see the death of the Beastmaster. Although Slanders, he's come in, he's already thrown the stun out, but it's not really bouncing towards the targets he wants to. It's just thrown towards creeps. So unfortunately, he can't really get anything done. So Burden United again, they get another kill. Although up top, they want ZXC again. They were just hoping the Dark Troll Summoner. Excuse me, my English is horrible. D- for me. They were trying to get the ensnare onto ZXC, but not gonna happen.
Oh, they're going to find Slander, crater him with the tornado as well. Necroman is free and away. This Invoker's starting to kick into gear right now. It takes Wex Invokers a little bit of time to do it, but when they do actually start kicking into gear, they do it so terrifyingly so because they have so much movement speed. Moving at 422 right now with Phase active. They teleport down towards bottom lane. Limbo looking for a surge out. Necroman actually doesn't have any cooldowns available, so he has to let that Darkseer go. But BU in the meantime have taken down the top tier 1 with the help of Chen's army. They're going to get Earthshaker caught with the roar. Boar is up as well. Fissure though can connect onto ZXC, but Axmo is right on top of the Shaker, and not really much the Shaker can do except for hope that he gets a deny. No, he will be going down to someone here. It's going to be the Boar to take the kill, but in the meantime, the jungle. It's Big Num to sit in the sandstorm right now. Will dodge death as Limbo does arrive with the Ion Shell. Is going to get straight towards Come With Me. Surging forward. There is no net on this Dark Troll Summoner, and it looks like Come With Me will go down. Walks right into the wall. Illusion's not quite going to do it. Has a grave for himself as well. No one's actually focusing him down. One more right click from long range. Doesn't even grave himself. Minus will also get collapsed upon by ZXC and Axmo. It's going to be 3 kills for Moscow 5 total. They chase down BU, maybe a little bit too aggressive there from the BU side. I think they also lose most, if not all, of their Chen creeps.
I think they lost all of them, but look at the Darkseer. He came in to that fight level 8, he gets level 9, so he's literally sitting at a 1 level per minute rate. That is massive, and to almost have your level 2 ultimate should be coming online very soon because he's running this Midas. It's very scary for Burden United. Those illusions, they're going to do so much damage, and especially when you have squishy heroes like a Dazzle who's only sitting on 600 HP, also an Earthshaker. He's a little bit tankier but still squishy, and also the Chen who's sitting on 600. These heroes, they can't take a beating. And Tornado up top, just going to miss on the Slanders unfortunately, so no kill going in the way of Necroman. But Burden United, they're going to struggle.
But Moscow 5, we have to remember also that they don't really have the best late game right now. If Gyrocopter somehow steps up his farm, if he clears out a giant ancient stack or whatever, he'll be fine to carry the late game. Whereas for Moscow 5, need to make some plays, need to make some aggressive pushing plays pretty shortly. They do have the book now on the Beastmaster. That's step 1. They're going to get a wall off into Limbo. However, the Fissure doesn't land. Limbo now going to go into the trees. Needs 13 seconds for his ultimate right now. Gets hit with the Echo Slam. Doesn't do that much damage though. Limbo is there with the Ion Shell. Very tanky as well. Vacuuming 3 heroes back. Surging out, but he gets caught in the net. And this Darkseer, because he has gone for this Midas, is rather soft as far as Darkseers are concerned. No mech or anything like that to save him there. So it's a pretty nice kill for BU. It does take 4 heroes, however, and they can't take a tower afterwards. They don't have the Chen creeps necessary to do so, nor the momentum. So it's a nice kill for BU and a necessary one, but is it really going to matter in the grand scheme of things? I think the Darkseer is going to recover and then some. Big Num also is closing onto his Blink Dagger.
Yeah, it's a Midas Darkseer as well, so he's going to be able to recover. The fact that they had to put so many resources into killing one hero means that it opened up the map for the other heroes on Moscow 5. So Dazzle, he's going to pop the weave onto his entire teammate, and then he's going to try and go for the tower, but, well, Epicenter has been cancelled up by the Fissure. Really nice stuff coming out from Burden United. They are going to get a kill in the Sand King, but there is reinforcements coming in, but, well, there's going to be the Wall Thrower. Is it really going to do anything, though? All the illusions have already been cleared, except for one. There's the Roar connecting onto Sing Sing, and my client actually froze for a little bit, but that's okay, and looks like that's just going to be it. No one's really going to be able to reinitiate into this unless Moscow 5 wants to fight into them, which they will, but Burden United, being the smart team that they are, they know that they don't have to fight into this, and they're just going to back up, plus a tower deny.
Yeah, not a bad way to end that fight. The cherry on top of the cake is going to be that deny, and, well, they don't really get that much pushing going for themselves. They drop the tower down, not low enough to be denied by the Moscow 5 side, and M5 just struggling to get in there close enough. It's a really bad death for Big Num there. I mean, you try to go for the Dazzle kill, because if you get it, you probably get your Blink Dagger. But if you miss it, and if you die because of it, suddenly he's another 500 gold away from that one. And it seems like Moscow 5 are just having trouble getting through to the BU side. It's understandable considering there's fissures and there's tornadoes and a lot of things that Moscow 5 just have to work through if they're going to get right on top of BU. If they do, they're going to have a field day with Pulse Nova, with the Lightning from Leshrac, and the Darkseer Ion Shell. It's a lot of damage, but you just have to get through there initially, and that's really where they're struggling. The EMP also being a huge tool for BU just to disengage and zone them out, but they're going to surge the Dark Witch Doctor down towards bottom. Lightning not going to connect, but the Death Ward will be channeled, vacuuming him right back into a splitter. Fever Knight is going to get some time with this Grave, but he can't really do too much unless Snow Call Down is going to get one rocket on Slander. That'll kill off one. Limbo will also die. Huge amount of damage coming out of the Gyrocopter. Now Minuts is going to get brought down by ZXC. Sitting in the tower range, he'll die as well. It's even 3 for 3 in Gyrocopter. Wow. I guess I always underestimate the damage potential of a call down, and Moscow 5, we're also eating tower shots the entire time. It's a 4 for 3 actually, as the Beastmaster also gets picked off.
I'm not too sure how much cold went both ways, but Burden United, they were behind for quite a bit, and because of those kills, they killed some very high priority targets, and all of a sudden, they're slowly creeping back into the game. This is something that Moscow 5 does not want. You mentioned that they had problems getting into the fight. It's because they're lacking these blink daggers. Moscow 5, they're getting a little ahead of themselves. They're not finishing off the blink daggers. They will have one on Darkseer right now, whereas on the Sand King, he's actually just picked it up. So the ease of execution for their draft, it's going to be there. Actually, never mind. He's not going to go for blink. He's just going to go right for mech. So I like this too. It's going to give their team some extra sustain against this burst from Burden. But a blink dagger, I'm expecting this to be his next item pickup to get into the middle of the fights for those really nice vacuum combos.
He might even need some arcane boots just to get his mana pool up. Mechanism is an expensive item. 225 mana there, 250 coming out from his wall, and then another 290 coming out from his, well, two important skills, say Ion Shell and Vacuum. There's not much mana to spare here from Limbo. Yeah, he does have a Soul Ring, so he won't completely be drained out, but still, Limbo needs more mana pool at this point, and he doesn't have many allies, if any allies at all. No, he has no one to actually give him extra mana, so this Darkseer will run dry shortly. They'll catch Necroman up towards top, though. Earth Splitter is going to land, and here comes the Pulse Nova. Necroman's going to go straight into the Invis. Sandstorm not going to do it. Death Ward still being channeled as Paris walks right into it. Call down is there, but they can't walk into this Death Ward. They'll take down the Dazzle with the Wild Axe, and now Axmo looking for Beaver Knight, who's completely out of mana. Blink forward from Bignum one more time with the cask there as well. They'll take down the Gyrocopter. Still Necroman is chilling in his Invis state, but he can't do anything to actually to stop this. They'll go for the tower push straight after. That fissure did absolutely nothing. And this tower is going to drop. Will they go for more, though? They are running a little bit low on mana.
This is where Arcane Boots would have been nice, wouldn't it? Just giving a little bit of farm to Slanders. He's getting very close to Arcane Boots himself, so if they actually give him a little bit of space, it would benefit the team as a whole, just to have that extra mana. Because Spellcast team, they need to use all their mana for spells to win the fights. If they don't, bit troublesome for them. Although down towards bottom, looks like Limbo has been found out by Necroman, and he is going to be kept in place by all the creeps. So there's the end snare, and well, can Limbo get out? There's Mechanism has been popped. He's still there, though. He's unable to really get out of there. There's actually going to be an Echo Slam committed. Wall was thrown out by the Darkseer, unfortunately. Not too sure if he was going to try and go for a kill. Probably just expecting, hey, I'm going to die anyway. Maybe I can just drop them low enough. Because the cooldown for Wall, it's not that high. It's at a decent rate at this point.
Well, it's a kill on the Darkseer nonetheless. He was not involved actually in that top lane skirmish that previously happened from Moscow 5, so he didn't get any benefits from that one, and you really do want to have the mech on in your team fights right now if you're Moscow 5, but for BU, yeah, they don't exactly take a great fight up towards top. They're still getting a couple pickoffs, and Necroman crucially is surviving. That's the important thing. He has his Wex that's almost maxed out. He has his Orchid on the way. His solo kill potential is almost going to be topped out. Or, I mean, I guess not topped out, but at a short peak, once he grabs this Orchid, I think he can solo kill most, if not all, of the Moscow 5 heroes if he actually casts his skills successfully and in the correct order, but not if he gets jumped. There's an Earth Split waiting for him after the Bro Strike, and Necroman, as soon as I said he's surviving, is gonna die. Classic.
The stun lock is real for Moscow 5, and what can Burden United do? If they want to... the only way they can counteract the disables is if they grab a BKB. Problem is that if you pick up a BKB, it's a defensive item, it's not giving you any offensive capability, and unfortunately if you pick up a BKB early and you're constantly using it during the late game, you're going to have a 5-second BKB, and even though it's going to give you a little bit of magic immunity, during the late game you need the long duration BKBs. So it's putting Burden United in a bit of a funny position. They will have the Orchid soon, as you mentioned, on the Invoker, and him getting solo kills, it'll help them come back into the game, but it's not going to be enough for him alone. Him having the Orchid ready in the team fight, it's going to be crucial as to whether or not he's going to Orchid the right person, whether it's going to be the Darkseer when he's about to throw a combo, whether it's going to be the Leshrac who's in the middle of the fight hoping to do damage. We may see a fight in the Roach Pit. Tornado's going to be thrown out, only going to connect onto creeps and one hero, but there's a massive combo coming up from Moscow 5, and well, Sing Sing, he's going to go for a TP out, and he has already been graved, so he's going to be okay. And Aegis has not been taken, actually. Roshan's still at a decent percentage, but Minot, he's going to be the first casualty of Void. Brings the creeps, but looks like he's just going to bring the creeps to feed. Necroman, though, he's going to try and hit onto Axmo, but Burden, they're just going to have to give it up at this point. Roshan will be taken by our Dire side relatively easily. First Roshan as well, so no cheese for a while.
A couple of things going wrong there for BU. Tornado slightly off the mark. Call down EMP good, but Moscow 5 disengaged to the south very quickly. Really, I think it was Bignum, though, that did it. Like, the fact that he landed a 3-man epicenter, got in there onto all of those heroes, landed a burrow strike as well. It could have been better for them if they were able to burst down the gyrocopter, obviously, but, I mean, they used the epicenter. They traded for a couple of cooldowns from the BU side. Epicenter does have a pretty long cooldown, but they get an Aegis out of it, so BU just a little bit off point with their skills right now, and now that Moscow 5 actually have an Aegis on their Leshrac, they'll be able to clean out, or at least try to clean out the rest of these tier 2s. Looks like they're going to stop right now and go for a kill on the gyrocopter. They see him. Limbo's going to surge in. Beaver Knight going to get hit with a stun. Tornado going to disengage for the gyrocopter, but it won't really work that well if it gets vacuumed back into a wall, which will almost kill him off. 3 HP. Sing Sing gets to live, but you can't outrun a haste rune. Axmo's going to come right in, swipe him once, and that's going to be that. Necroman trying to TP out. Roar available, but no vision. It's just a solo kill for Moscow 5, but it's going to put them on the pushing track for, it seems like, top lane. They don't even need ZXC to be up there, honestly. This Leshrac might get a secondary tower for them down towards bottom.
That was unfortunate for Sing Sing. He thought he was safe, but when you get clipped by a Beastmaster, it's not a fun thing. So at this point, Moscow 5, I'm surprised they're not pushing. They're kind of all over the place. They're still farming up items. Are we seeing any important items soon? Darkseer, he's got 2.2k gold. Any idea as to what he's looking for?
I would say Blink Dagger, but he would have had that one if he was going for a Blink Dagger, so it doesn't seem like it's going to be that. Shiva's Guard won't be terrible here, at the very least, just to give him some extra mana pool. Like, this guy needs that extra mana, but it doesn't seem like he has any plans for that. I don't know if Guardian Greaves are any good. I actually haven't seen anyone get Guardian Greaves at all, so yeah, it could be an option for him as well, but mana pool, tankiness for the Darkseer. Shiva's Guard covers both bases, but that's a very expensive item, and it's not really an item that's powerful enough to warrant waiting, or warrant stalling your push for.
If he has a Blink Dagger and then he picks up the Shivas, then I can understand why, because at least he has a way to get into the fight, plus slow down Burden United. But for him to pick up a Shivas now, it's still okay, but he just doesn't have a way to get into the middle of the fights. So we'll see what he wants to go for. Maybe he's just going to go for something. Maybe he's going to go for one of the new items. Who knows? I would like to see something new and shiny, because who doesn't? So T2 tower down bottom is going to go down. Burden United, they still have 2 heroes up top farming, and it's Sing Sing as well as his buddy up there on the Earthshaker. They are waiting by the creep wave, and they're hoping to ambush somebody, because Blink Dagger is at the ready as well as an Echo Slam, but the rest of Moscow 5, they're just kind of pushing the mid lane anyway, so no one's going to fall for Burden United's trap. Actually, never mind, we have one that may be taking the bait, and it's going to be Bignum, our very pesky Sand King, who's been super annoying to Burden. Although it looks like they've pretty much retreated at this point, where the rest of his team, they're going to grab an objective, and Burden, what can they do other than just sit in their base and pray?
Nothing. They will do nothing. They will let this tower fall, and now towards top lane they go. Burst Strike already connect onto the Earthshaker. Here comes ZXC with a little bit of lightning. Eul Scepter set up for the split Earth. He's going to land right into it. There is an Echo Slam here, which maybe he'll get off, but even if he did get it off, wouldn't have done anything anyway. That's going to be a free kill and a free tower for Moscow 5. It probably should have been one or the other, definitely not both, and Moscow 5, they wanted to go up to the top lane anyway. Like, that's where the last tower is sitting, so they're going to go straight down that lane and look to extend their lead. I don't know if anyone else in their team is going to be going for Necrobook. Seems like Witch Doctor's going to go for the Aghanims, as to be expected. Sand King for a Force Staff, but maybe Darkseer wants to go for that one. He's now holding on to 3,400 gold on Limbo. Travels at this point, perhaps to add a little bit of split push. He's going to vacuum back Necroman, but he's just looking to shove the wave and be an annoying rat hero, this Darkseer. And, well, it seems like it's working well enough, but, I mean, I don't even think they need it. They're going to actually, they might lose Axmo. Beaver Knight is going to get sent back to the base. Roar has already been used, so no casualties just yet, although Bignum is going to look to intercept too. Burrow Strike available, will use it onto Minots. Limbo's going to come right in, has a wall but no vacuum. They have the Ion Shell and the Axes. Minots chain stunned by that cast from Slander. He doesn't have an additional stun to kill off Come With Me, and they do lose the Aegis in the meantime. ZXC will respawn right into an EMP, losing the majority of his mana. Tornado will not crater Bignum. He will survive that one, albeit barely. And it will be just another free kill for Moscow 5. Unfortunately, that could have been 2 kills, but they still have a tier 2 tower to take. They still are in a good position to continue on with this push.
Yeah, so good stuff by Moscow 5 Rose Burden. They're getting caught out. They have some decent vision on their side of the map, but it's not quite enough to really warrant them moving around their side of the map freely. They've only got one observer, and it's just this one here, and it's only showing them rotations around in this vicinity. It's not giving them anything else. So everything past this line, well, I'm probably just going to draw on the whole map. Anything past this line is dangerous because they have no idea where Moscow 5 is. They don't have the Beastmaster, they don't have the Hawk, so they don't have this vision to work with, and this is the issue that they're dealing with. They just can't go anywhere without risking themselves, because
And
Moscow
Dazzle.
5, if they see blood, they're gonna take it. And Dazzle.
Oh, well, he gets away. He gets sent back to the base, but that's pretty much exactly what you were saying. If you pass the line, and Dazzle did, this is way outside that line of safety, you're going to be in a lot of trouble. This time, Dazzle gets to live because Moscow 5 don't fully commit to that. But next time, I don't think the Dazzle is going to be as lucky, or that hero is going to be as lucky. Maybe for Moscow 5, they're going to sit back and wait for another Roshan, wait for the Aghanim Scepter to come up on this Leshrac, and he is going to be going for that one. We'll have that one very shortly. If he gets Aghanim Scepter into the Octarine core, right? Then, yeah, Leshrac is going to be very tanky, and he'll have so much spell steal, that it'll be so hard for BU to actually burst them down, even though they do have, in theory, a lot of burst.
He will have to pick up a Bloodstone after this, though, because with the Octarine Core, even though it's lowering the cooldown of your spells, it's not going to lower the mana cost, which obviously is what caps out a Leshrac in general. So I'm hoping he picks up a Bloodstone somewhere along the line, so he can just stabilize his mana regen, so that he can actually justify picking up an Octarine Core, because it's a great item, and if you can spam it, great. You just need to make sure you have mana for it.
Over in the mid lane, Bignum is sandstormed up. Earthshaker sees it, but isn't really going to act upon it. It might be Minuts in a little bit more trouble, because we have a smoke up here from 3 of the Moscow 5 heroes. ZXC is going to catch Minuts, land him right into an Edict, into a Split Earth, and Minuts doesn't have anyone to send him back. He's going to get burned down by the Pulse Nova. Still, the Shaker's invisible. He may be able to get some sort of surprise going here, and top lane is being split pushed a little bit by Come With Me, but I don't really know if it's going to be enough, because over towards bottom, they're going to try to go for Limbo. Ket's calling the Tornado, but here comes Axmo. Gets silenced so he can't roar, but Bignum has his Burrow Strike. Beaver Knight has to help out, but it's too late for him. The Invoker's already dead. Now the roar into Beaver Knight. He has his BKB up. This is a 10-second as well. Grave going to save him for a little while longer, but he doesn't have his call down any longer. He will eventually go down to someone. It'll be the Darkseer to claim that kill, as Come With Me also gets caught with the Eul Scepter. ZXC looking for a Split Earth or Lightning or both. Limbo's going to close him with the Ion Shell. Come With Me going to die to that, if nothing else. It'll be the Darkseer to draw a double and a 4-for-1 trade for Moscow 5, and conveniently for them, they're right next to the tower. ZXC will die to Paris after one big enchant totem hit, but Limbo's going to chase forward for a little bit more. They do lack the damage right now, and they will lose their Necro unit as well, but with no Leshrac, it seems like Moscow 5 have not enough pushing. They also don't have the Necro units anymore. They will still stick around because there's not much that BU can do, but still Moscow 5 losing Leshrac pretty much stops their push.
They're just hanging around because they want to see if there's any buybacks available. If they can bait them out, then that's pretty much going to be a bonus aside from the T3 tower. But they grab what they want. Limbo, though, he's going to be okay. He was going to be jumped on, but it's a Darkseer. He's very tanky. He has a way to escape. Although Axmo, bit of a different story. He doesn't have anything like Surge or that. So if he gets caught, he might actually go down. So there's Blink Forward. He does go down. Oh, God, that was pretty quick. But counter kill going in the way of Burden United, but very costly. T3 tower, and you only get 1 kill. I guess the Leshrac as well.
At least for BU, no Raxes go down right now. That's really what they're going to be happy about, if they can be happy about anything at all. If they lost Raxes there, then Moscow 5 will be pretty much exactly where they want to be as far as their position in this game with this type of draft, but they're a little bit delayed now, and it's going to be BU to crack back, or at least try to crack back, knowing the Beastmaster is down. They might actually catch the Witch Doctor as well, get silenced before he gets his heal off. That will kill him off, although Bignum, no, coming in with the Burrow Strike. Slander's still alive. I thought that Orchid would have done it for sure, but Bignum coming in once again like a superhero, and ZXC Limbo thinking about going in there as well. They will back off, or maybe go for Minuts. ZXC looking for that Eul Scepter. This Horseman is quick. And Nuts, his mount apparently is not fast enough. Wall back onto a burst strike. Beaver Knight's in a lot of trouble right now, but he has so many heroes to heal him up. Pipe goes up, and the rest of Moscow 5 have to try and disengage. ZXC using himself right now. Will dodge almost the entirety of the call down, but now he's stuck all alone. Is going to back off pretty swiftly, though. Will dodge a tornado on his way out. Here comes Axmo and the Epicenter both. Epicenter won't do that much, but they will take out the Gyrocopter. Now going for Come With Me, who does grave himself. It looks like he will get stunned out of his TP. He should be dying as well. Fissure disengage. Help for Nuts, but Bignum still on his tail. Has a Force Staff, has a Burst Strike in just a little while, but it looks like the Ion Shell is going to start ticking away. Nuts is going to get stunned up by one, and then burned down by the sand and the ions. That's going to be a whole slew of kills for Moscow 5 after not losing any of their own. They have Edict, and the enemy team does not have a Fortified. This might be 2 Raxes for Moscow 5.
This should be 2 Raxes for Moscow 5. They have enough pushing potential with this. They have the Necro units, they have the summons from the Beastmaster as well. You even have a Leshrackers, for goodness sakes. You have plenty of push to take down these Raxes and Burden. They have no buybacks. So for them to defend this, it would be a miracle for them to even kill or to send these heroes back. Well, the heroes are coming back online very shortly. So we've got the Dazzle, and we're going to have Sing Sing coming back too. But one set of racks should go down. They're going to leave one, but the Catapult's going to do it too. Catapult Cardi, he's going to do what he needs. They get one set, and they're just going to back up. They do not need to overextend. They took one set of objectives, and they can take the other one whenever they want. Most preferably after that Roche, which you just frantically circled for me.
That was a very neat circle. I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay, neat circle.
It was perfect. It was literally a perfect circle. But guys, they're just going to go into the Roche pit. Leshrac is closing on his level 16, which is relevant for Leshrac more so than some other heroes. The mana cost does increase. That's a pain in the ass for him, but he has Yule Scepter, and it seems like that's doing just enough, and they'll clear out Roshan without much of a hitch. For BU, well, first of all, they can't really contest this Roshan. They have so much healing and so many defensive tools for this Gyrocopter, Beaver Knight, Sing Sing, but if you look at his item build, like, he has almost a purely defensive item build, and he has so many defensive heroes on his side. That means he's not actually doing that much damage, and it just seems like Moscow 5, like, when they're caught in that call down like we saw in that mid lane fight, people should be dying on their side, but they're just not. They're surviving because of the heals from the Darkseer. The Pipe is up on him as well, plus the Witch Doctor heal, and now Moscow 5 with the Aegis in tow are going to be on the warpath. They want bottom lane. They'll be pushing into, however, an Earthshaker with the level 2 ultimate, so this might be bad for Moscow 5 if they overcommit with the creep wave. ZXC is going to get hit with a Tornado, has a Force Staff out, and there's no EMP, however. So ZXC just going to take a little bit of damage, and he'll recover a little bit of that with the heal from Slander. Necroman, I am come. This is their big shot right now, but Bignum is also in the trees hiding. If he doesn't get his Blink Dagger interrupted, there could be a really bad Epicenter waiting for BU. ZXC has his Aegis and the Edict active. They got to go soon, if not now. Another creep wave is coming in, and mid lane is also pushing in. Moscow 5 have all the time in the world to make this play. Epicenter Echo Slam onto ZXC, vacuum back onto I Am Come. The Tornado is doing some work, but Bignum gets into the backline, slays the Invoker. Now onto the Earthshaker they go with the Pulse Nova active. Axmo already dove in, uses Roar already, buyback from the Shaker, blink forward, stunning ZXC, actually misclicks and goes for Bignum instead. Now he's going to pay the price for it. ZXC still alive with that Pulse Nova doing damage. That's going to be 3 kills for Limbo, and for the Moscow 5 side in general. That was not the initiation that BU wanted. They were caught completely off guard by the positioning of Bignum, and that's 2 Raxes in their favor, Moscow 5. They're going to clean some buildings out because you might as well get some free gold. They still have the Aegis. They've taken no casualties so far, and if they get a little bit too close, BU, there's a Burrow Strike waiting for them. Bignum, well, BKB goes up on Beaver Knight. I don't think Moscow 5 actually care about that. Minox is going to get graved up. Beaver Knight is going to chase everyone away with the BKB, but that BKB charge did close to no damage.
Even if he tries to go in and fight them with his team with the BKB, what does he provide? He just doesn't do enough damage. He's just got no damage items. He's relying on spells, but it's too late to just be using your spells for damage. So he's just using it for zoning out. I don't know if it was even a misclick, for goodness sake. Maybe he was thinking that they were going to jump on him and he just preemptively popped the BKB. Who knows? But BU, though, they're so behind, and I don't think they even have the tools to come back. They don't have any sort of big team fight ultimates like M5. M5 is loaded with it. BU, M5 has to throw bodies at them to come back. It's impossible.
This is about the time where if you're the Gyrocopter, you are starting to save up for that Divine Rapier, but Nuts, he's going to get roared and very quickly drop down. Can he actually survive this? We'll grab the melee Necro unit, and that'll secure his survival, although it's still pretty close. Axmo, you just used a Roar for that, not a big deal for him. Moscow 5, they have the last objective in their sights. It's going to be top lane. And hey, Guardian Greaves for the first time since in this patch,
Ever.
at least for me. Yeah, he'll have that one completed for him. He might as well since he's starting to run out of inventory space. But Necroman, is he spotted out by anything right now? There's no true sight. He's still walking around, but they do know that he's there, though, with the chill effect on the Hawk. But he can't make a jump here. Moscow 5, or BU rather, they have to make some sort of desperation play, take a fight outside of their base, not get their Dazzle initiated upon. That's less than ideal. Bignum's going to miss the Burrow Strike. Doesn't matter, however. ZXC is going to charge forward with the Aghanim Scepter Pulse Nova. Come with me, taking a lot of damage. ZXC still has the Aegis, so he doesn't really care if he goes down right now. If he kills off Come With Me, that's great. Otherwise, not a big deal. They will kill off the Dazzle, actually, with the Edict damage. Now the Burrow Strike 2 on the Beaver Knight, as the Shiva's Guard is popped. Beaver Knight is completely isolated, and he will go down. That's going to be 2 free kills for Moscow 5. Both those kills don't have buybacks. And Leshrac is going to pop right back up as if nothing happened, and they're going to go for Megas, and that's not going to even be necessary. Minuts is going to be the final casualty, and that's going to be game.
That was the 5-man or 3 or 4-man echo that ES wanted, but unfortunately it was after the GG call. But absolutely dominating games from Moscow 5. They 2-0 sweep against Burden United. Who would have known? Especially with the odds that everyone's placed on these two teams. So lots of Bugattis going in the way of Moscow 5 betters.
Oh, all the Bugattis, man. Literally all of them are going to be there. As BU, well, this game 2 at least was a little bit of a better showing. Game 1, I think it was just a fault in their draft. Not enough early game. And in this one, I mean, their execution was alright, but I think both times it was the fact that, or a big part of it was the fact that Limbo, as the Darkseer and as the Axe, got a complete free lane, and that is not really supposed to happen. He was such a huge engine behind the Moscow 5 lineup in both games, and they rode that engine to victory. So it's going to be Moscow 5 taking a 2-0 win over BU, solidifying their #1 place in the group for the Game Show Invitational. Guys, it's been a pleasure casting today. It's been a long day, especially for Danny. It's pushing late hours for her, but I'm going to let her go. Moscow 5 now on top of the group, Burden United at 2nd place. And this is it for today. I'm Mikelorus. I'm joined by Danny. You can find us both on Twitter, at Mikelorus, at DanelieCasts. It's all in the title of the stream, and we are going to call it. Congratulations to Moscow 5. Thank you guys for tuning in, and we'll see you guys next time here for more Game Show Invitational.